All right, let's talk about some cameras. You know what? That intro didn't really feel great. It didn't feel like me. But I don't have an intro. You know what? I gotta find an intro. Oh God, YouTube is wild. But okay, so since I got to work with Nikon with the Z8, I've been paying much closer attention to releases, and I think we need to talk about the Nikon Z5 Mark II and why I think it's perfect for you, especially like a creator, content creator, because I think Nikon's really been slept on recently with some of the releases. People have been focused on Sony and Canon, and while those are beautiful brands, they're fantastic. Even Fuji, Nikon, there's reliability with it, and it's taken over all of my photography. So I only shoot Nikon right now. And they're starting to creep into my video work as well. And here's why you should probably pay attention to this camera. So I have some notes over here. So you see me looking over here. I'm actively reading the notes I took on this camera because I don't want to get anything wrong for you. So just keep that in mind, please. It uses the Z6 II sensor. It uses a flippy screen. So you're able to flip the screen around, especially if you're a content creator who does a lot of solo creating like myself. That's perfect because having to buy an additional monitor or use something like this, which is nice, right? Being able to connect it to a additional monitor so you can see yourself with the Bluetooth reliability or Wi-Fi connection. It's great, but if you can just use a flippy screen when you're out and about, it just makes life a lot easier. Friends, trust me, speaking from experience. There is a lower HDMI lag. However, the HDMI port is not a full-size HDMI port. It is a micro one, which just kind of means you full HDMI to full HDMI connections, especially with monitors, is a lot easier than a full HDMI to micro HDMI. But truth be told, the difference really is just one small, como se dice in English, is one small cord. So once you get the right cord, you're perfectly fine. Now, I will tell you when the output is only 1080p, which honestly, especially when you're working with monitors, having 1080p limit, it's not terrible for an outside or external monitor because when you think about it, when you're using NPF batteries, they don't run through as much power when you're going 1080p as versus running at 4K. 4K is going to demand more power. 1080p isn't. I just listen. Trust me, you'll be fine. You know what the image is, and it can record up to. I want to say you can record up to 4K for sure. I don't know if we can go up to 6K. 4K for sure. And if you know you're gonna get 4K in the final image in the post production when you're editing, getting a 1080p output on your monitor is perfectly fine. Linear response to manual focus, which is fine. No in-log view assist, which I don't necessarily love. Okay, so what that means is when you're color grading your footage, you're going to record it in a section that's called, or in a profile mode that's called log. Log footage tends to look really washed out and grayed out because it's essentially you're going to go color grade, or you're going to actually go into post and color in your footage. Say, hey, I want my highlights to look like this. I want my colors to look like this. My reds, my greens, my blues, etc., etc. Fantastic. View Assist still gives you a clean image while you're recording in log, so that way you don't freak out, or when you're showing somebody, like a client, for example, their footage, they don't freak out saying, why does it look like that? That's not right. That can't be right. Having no in-log View Assist just means that when you get an external monitor, you need to have your monitor calibrated for Rec 2020 conversion because I believe, yeah, because Nikon record their video in Rec 2020 and not Rec 709. So make sure it's converted that way. Autofocus is reliable up to 3 stops underexposed, which means if your subject is too dark or you're working in a dark environment, don't worry about it. If you're 3 stops underexposed, you should still have pretty good reliable performance from autofocus. And when it's overexposed, there seems to be no issues whatsoever. Now, there's a better response. Hold on. Rolling shutter isn't too crazy. If you don't know what rolling shutter is, rolling shutter is essentially when you're waving the camera back and forth because of fast motions for things like sports or dancing or tracking a subject for any reason, especially in a short film. You will see like small wavy lines on certain cameras. It's there, but it's not like groundbreaking that it's there. It's not going to, ruin the immersion for anybody who's watching your project. It's not like global shutter, right? Because this is not that type of camera. Now, I will tell you that the IBIS or the in-body stabilization, it's solid, but it's not something I'd hang my hat on, right? So if I would personally turn the IBIS or the in-body stabilization on the camera off, record your footage whenever how you get it how you can, and then you can easily stabilize it using Davinci Resolve or Adobe Premiere Pro, Catalyst Browse, etc., etc. Those are your options. Catalyst Browse is a workhorse when it comes to stabilization. If you haven't heard of it before, Google it, watch some extra videos on it. Trust me, it's fantastic. The baseline I would personally use for this, also this is a free game for you if you're trying to figure out how to color grade Nikon footage and make it look pretty. Since they bought Red, they have these released these different LUTs you can use. They give you the red conversion. It's access to red LUTs. Go use those and try them out. See how you feel about them. I absolutely love them and adore them. They give me a great starting place for all of my edits. Um, Yo, speaking of edits, there's a big thing I need you not to miss. I will talk about it in a later. Let me talk about a couple things first, and then we're gonna get there. But there's a huge thing with this camera. I just remembered why I want to make a video about this camera. Oh my god. Okay, thank you. Battery life is solid and reliable with the use of a USB-C. 4K 24. If you're shooting 4K 24, you get about 2 hours and 5 minutes of recording time before you hit a time limit. That's just how things work for this camera. But when you think about it, the battery life of the camera only lasts about, it's like 2 hours and 10 minutes or something crazy like that. So when you think about it, your recording limit is right around when your battery is going to die. Cool. You can easily extend the battery life by using a USB-C port, or using like an external battery, or like a battery pack. That's the easy way to do it. Not gonna hold you. However, you're still limited to the 2 hour and 5 minute recording limit. I just still remembered. Now you do have 2 SD card slots, and you don't have any CF Express card slots, but you can still shoot you can still shoot in RAW, right? So in RAW is essentially having the ability to shoot raw footage, which allows you to, when you're in the post-production, let me slow down. In the post-production phase, if you make any mistakes, like for example, let's say your footage is overexposed, but you shot in RAW, well, you can now go into the settings, especially in like Davinci Resolve, and you can change your exposure like you were actually there on set. So let's say your exposure or your like your white balance, for example, is way too warm, right? You can go cool it off without using any sliders or HSV slides. HSV changes. You can literally go into the raw settings when you're working with it, especially in DaVinci Resolve. I do a lot of editing in DaVinci Resolve. If you can't tell, that's where a lot of my expertise is coming from here. And when you go in there, you can literally you can slide it around. So you can go from really warm to really, really warm, really cool to right on point. So if you're forgetting to set your white balance, which I know a lot of people are, because a lot of people don't use gray cards or use lens caps or find a white piece of paper on set because you're so busy trying to get your footage. You just kind of eyeball it, which can work, but is really, really dangerous, especially when you're trying to do the color grade. And I'm excited about that because I literally had to get access to CF Express cards to understand why they're so much better when it comes to read speed. And then I had to go and get V90 SD cards just so I could be able to shoot in certain modes. So having the ability to not spend the extra money for a CF Express card and still get access to NRAW, which is like especially if you're a filmmaker, right? Getting access to a filmmaker, getting access to raw footage without that price barrier is game changing, especially for your budget, friends. Just trust me. Okay. Now, however, I will tell you this: when I was working with Nikon in the past with the Z8 model, when I got to meet them at their creator camp, they did warn us that when it comes to the auto temperature shutoff, set it to high. Okay. Now, that being said, I worked with Nikon Z8 for like a year and a half now. I've had it in cold conditions. I've had it in warm conditions. I've had it in cool, rainy conditions. I've had it in extremely hot conditions. I just had this thing in a warehouse full of Afro dancers, African dancers, where they were doing it was like a video for choreography, and we're in an empty warehouse with no AC in the middle of Texas right before the summer. So outside was like 85, 90 degrees. Inside, we're cooking, man. we're cooking because we're actively moving and we have gear moving around. And had that camera on for like a solid hour, no problems whatsoever. Not even a warning sign. That being said, I would definitely recommend shooting in RAW over H.265 just because there's some issues that need to be addressed with H.265 in an update, especially when you're trying to go back and color grade it. Just nothing major that I need to like really talk about. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. Just know compressions and file sizes. RAW is a bigger file size than H.265, but I think you get better image quality out of RAW. That's just my personal opinion. You can cook me in the comments if you want to. I don't care. The pre-release capture function is fantastic. So if you're trying to make sure you capture the correct moment, this is perfect for people who do a lot of stuff with like family functions, weddings, and especially like you're a birder or you like to go shoot nature. The pre-release function helps you capture several images before you fully press the shutter button, just in case you get images right before the moment, and just in case you miss the moment when you press the shutter button. High-res zoom is a game changer if you're a photographer. Listen, high-res zoom allows you to punch in extra. So let's say you're using 24 to 70 millimeter. lens, and you need just a little extra punch in, right? But you don't have the extra focal length. Well, high res zoom gives you the extra focal length that you need, friend, without losing any quality. That's the power of Nikon. And when the first time they showed me this, I almost cried. I was like, dude, I love you. And just the image quality you can get from Nikon sensors alone is fantastic. I'm not gonna lie to you, it kind of blows my other cameras out of the water. I'm just being honest. Um, and yeah, this is the first camera to allow the recording of in RAW or RAW footage to an SD card as opposed to a CF Express card. And that's all, folks, except for one thing. Here's a really big thing. I forgot to write down the price for this camera for some reason, and I don't know why I did that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Z5 Mark II is $1696.95. So about 1,700 bucks before taxes. But for what you're getting, though, I'm not gonna hold you. It's a steal. But it depends on you. If you're looking to do photo and video, this is the camera I would tell you to lean more towards, as opposed to some of the competition. Like right now, I know for a fact that recently the Sony FX30 just got dropped down to price about $1,500, which puts it right in competition with this. But that's if you're more video focused and centric, you could go that way, but you can't really shoot in RAW. You can't shoot the in RAW on SD cards over there. Trust me. Listen, it is a game changer. Someone who shoots a ton of footage with the Sony a7S III, the quality I get is really great and fantastic, and it's something easy for me to work on because I learned everything with Sony at first. However, when I pulled out the Nikon Z8 alone just to get access to MRAW for stuff, man, listen. It's amazing when I can look at an image and I don't have to worry about it breaking down faster because I'm adding too many effects or changing things or fixing the white balance or da da da. MRAW it's just a life changer. It's a game changer. I'll probably make a video about it later. But look, friends, that's a Nikon Z5 Mark II. Do yourself a favor, go check it out. Just go rent it. Just go rent the camera. Go pick up the camera and look at it. Okay, Nikon's cameras, they feel great in your hands. There's a reason why every time you watch a movie or you see someone on like the sideline or the sideline of a basketball court, football field, soccer stadium, baseball, you see a lot of people shooting with Nikons. There's a reason for that, friend. A lot of times the pictures and posters you have, they are probably shot on a Nikon. Now, can I prove that? Probably in another video. I'll do some extra research, but I can tell you right now, from just like the quality I see with the casual photos I take sometimes, it's a night and day difference, friends. But that's what I said. Hopefully you got to listen to the whole video and you understand that maybe you should check out Nikon. That being said, if you enjoyed the video, you enjoyed the information I gave you, do me a favor, leave a like. Tell me what your favorite focal length is down below in the comment section, and subscribe for more videos in the future. I'm sleepy. I'm recording this late. You see Kofi back there? It's Kofi right here, and it's Evan Raft right here. I've got two different creators talking to me, telling me about two different things. We're live. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and record this video, finish recording this video, edit this video, and get it posted, then go to bed. Hopefully, you're not up too late either, friend. That being said, that's all I have for you for now. Until next time, peace.